The Forbidden Gospel, why the Book of Mary Magdalene was omitted from the Bible. She walked with him. She stood at the cross when others fled. And she was the first to witness the resurrection. Yet, her voice was silenced. This is the story of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. The Gospel that was buried, banned, and nearly forgotten. Who was Mary Magdalene? A woman misunderstood. Mary Magdalene, for centuries, she was labeled a repentant prostitute. But the Gospels tell a different story, a devoted disciple, healed of demons, and a key witness to the resurrection. The Gospel of Mary paints her not as a follower, but as a leader. And that's where the controversy begins. What's in the Gospel of Mary? A hidden wisdom. Discovered in 1896 in Egypt, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene is written in Coptic. Much of it is lost, pages are missing, but what remains is profound. In the text, after Jesus ascends, the disciples are confused and afraid. Mary stands up and comforts them. She shares a vision Jesus gave her, one not found in any other gospel. Jesus, in her vision, teaches that sin is not a punishment from God, but a result of inner imbalance. He speaks of a higher reality, a spiritual awakening, accessible only through knowledge. This was not the Jesus of Roman Orthodoxy. This was the Jesus of the Gnostics. Conflict with Peter, the battle for spiritual authority. In the Gospel, Peter is shocked. He questions, did the Savior really speak these things to a woman, and not to us? Levi responds, if the Savior made her worthy, who are we to reject her? This moment reveals a deep division. Mary is seen as spiritually enlightened, but challenged by the male apostles. It's the first recorded tension between institutional authority and inner revelation. Why it was omitted, the real reasons. By the 2nd and 3rd centuries, the early church was defining its canon. Books that didn't fit the emerging orthodoxy were labeled heresy. Here's why the Gospel of Mary was rejected. 1. Gnostic ideas. It claims salvation comes through gnosis, or secret knowledge, not just faith or obedience. The church saw this as dangerous. 2. Female authority. Mary was portrayed as a spiritual leader, even over Peter. This challenged a growing male-dominated hierarchy. 3. No apostolic provenance. It wasn't written by an apostle. By then, church leaders demanded apostolic authorship to include texts in the canon. 4. Lack of widespread use. Unlike the four Gospels, the Gospel of Mary wasn't widely circulated in early Christian communities. But let's be honest, deeper than theology, this was about control. If Mary was accepted as an authority, it would rewrite the foundations of Christian leadership. Rediscovery. Voices rising from the dust for centuries, the Gospel of Mary was buried. But in the modern age, it's rising. Scholars now study it not just as a curiosity, but as a spiritual document, offering insight into early Christian diversity. For many, it is a feminist gospel, reclaiming the role of women in the early church. A lost voice speaks again. What if we've misunderstood Mary all along? What if the Gospel of Mary isn't a threat to faith, but a restoration of truth? In a world longing for balance, perhaps it's time to listen to the voice that was silenced. If this moved you, share it. Let's bring these lost voices back into the conversation. Subscribe for more untold biblical histories, and don't forget to comment, should the Gospel of Mary be in the Bible? Let's talk.